right, Nick, are you keeping the timer for me? I'll just read the text and then start. You can start the timer then. Um, I'm going to stick with a prayer meeting at my church, though this one's probably going to be less prayer meeting-y than usual. Makes sense? We're going to be in Psalm 121. Would you all join me there? 121, Psalm 121. Beginning in verse 1. A song of ascent. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither sleep nor slumber. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in, from this time forth, forevermore. This is God's word. I'd like to tag this evening's message, all the way. See, the Christian life is a pilgrimage. It's a journey. We're all of us who are following Jesus are following him somewhere. The question is, how can we get where we're going? Who can actually help us and protect us along the way? And I think what we see in our text this evening is that only the Lord of all things can keep you all the way. Only the Lord of all things can keep us all the way. If you prefer it to rhyme, only Yahweh can keep us all the way. The psalmist sees it this way. He lifts his eyes up to the hills. We assume it seems likely that he's on his way to Zion, but even in between there are hills. These historically were the places where dangers lay. And as he looks at this journey and sees the dangers along the way, the question naturally arises, what's going to protect me? How am I going to make it all the way there? And he sees in verse 2, he says, my help comes from the Lord. That's really good news, because it's not just any old Lord. This is the Lord, the one who made all things, who made the heavens and the earth. This is his keeper. And church, this is your keeper. If you're here this evening and maybe you're not on this journey, you're not on this Christian pilgrimage, maybe you're just kicking the tires on Christianity, well, I want to show you that this is a journey you want to be on. It's a journey you can be on. Because the one who keeps you on this journey is the maker of heaven and earth. You're either going on this journey or you're going somewhere else, and you're going there without protection. But if you're headed to Zion, if you're headed to where Jesus went, if you're headed towards Jesus, the maker of all things is the one who keeps you. But that doesn't just mean he's powerful. It's not just that he's the maker of all things. He's actually always available to keep you. I mean, look at verse 3. He never sleeps and he never slumbers. God does not sleep on the job. I used to keep some employees at a little business that I had. I remember walking up to the window of this ice cream shop I owned and knocking on the window. And one of the employees who was watching the shop didn't come to the window. They were sleeping on the job. God does not sleep on the job. He is always available to keep you. You know, the Christian life, again, it has, just like those hills that the psalmist was looking at, the Christian life has all kinds of dangers. We have the temptation of sin, the possibility of persecution. The question that rises for all of us is, who will keep us? Who will protect us on this journey? Saints, the one who keeps you does not sleep, and he does not slumber. So you can keep on going. And it doesn't matter when. Not only is he always available, It doesn't matter what the dangers are you face, whether it's the dangers of day or the dangers of night. He's always available. Look at verse 6. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon at night. This could be referring to the heat of the day that might burn you, might scorch you as you're on the journey, and maybe the cold that comes with night, or possibly the evildoers who tend to do their evil at night. But whatever it is, whatever the dangers are, whether it's day or night, whether it's evil people or just natural dangers, it's everything. Everything God can protect you from as you go. And it doesn't matter what the temptation is. You actually can live the Christian life. Because the one who keeps you can keep you from everything at all times. He's always available to protect you from the dangers of day and the dangers of night. The question is it just tonight's dangers and just tomorrow's daytime dangers that he's able to protect us from? Will he still be able to protect us a year from now? Will he still be able to protect us 10 years from now? No, the one who keeps us is always available, able to protect us from all things forever. No matter how far we make it down this journey, he's able to keep us. Look at verse 7. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time forth and forevermore. I think it could go either way, right? We can look at the big dangers on the horizon, the ones coming way down the road, and we tend to think that there's no way the Lord's going to be able to protect us from that evil. There's no way the Lord's going to be able to give me the strength to resist that kind of temptation. Or it can be the stuff that's right in front of us, where it's right there, it's immediate. And we tend to think, this is too much for me. I can't actually resist this. Church, he really can. He can keep you right now from whatever's in front of you right now and from whatever might come up way down the road. He can keep you for all time. He's the only option. Yahweh is the only one who can keep you all the way. I mean, it's what he promised pretty much from the start. We read in Genesis 28 that God promised to Jacob, to soon to be named Israel, behold, I am with you and will keep you wherever you go and will bring you back to this land. For I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised in you. God had a promise for Jacob, had a plan for Jacob, and God promised he would keep him all the way. Saints, God has a plan for his church. God has a plan for you people in his church, and he's going to keep you all the way. But he didn't just stop there. Even the descendants of Jacob, the nation of Israel, as they were delivered out of Egypt and wandered through the wilderness, God kept them there. And he promised to them in number 6, the Lord, he instructed Moses to tell them, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. He promised to keep them all their days. But it wasn't just Jacob. It wasn't just Israel in the wilderness. Even the Son of God himself, God kept him from all dangers. We read in Matthew 2 that Herod tried to kill Jesus as an infant. That God guided his family out of that land into a safe place. He avoided the danger. He kept him from danger. And as Jesus began his ministry, he began to proclaim the good news of himself. The crowds became angry at him and were stirred to violence on multiple occasions. And on every time, he slipped away. He was kept from danger. That isn't, of course, until he wasn't. God had a purpose for Jesus. See, unlike us, Jesus actually deserved the protection he got. He actually deserved to be kept. But on that cross, as he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? He was forsaken. In a sense, he wasn't kept. So that all of us who don't deserve to be kept can be. It's the only one who can keep you all the way, no matter what the danger, no matter what the temptation. It's the Lord who made all things. He has promised to keep you. He kept his Son. And at the same time, he let his Son take the punishment you and I deserve, so that we can know he really will keep us all the way. Thank you.
Church context is Brainerd, Wednesday night, kind of Bible study, prayer meeting. I'll do a little intro, then I'll read the text for timekeeping. So growing up, I lived pretty close to the Chesapeake Bay, and in that there's a lot of crevices and little inroads and outroads in this bay. And so at night, sometimes it can be a little sketchy if you're on your little boat trying to navigate through. And to mitigate that, they would have lighthouses there that were a way for ships at night to see where the coast is. They're more prevalent, obviously, on the coasts, but especially where I was. And in these lighthouses, we need to make sure that the light is emitting light, that it can shine, that the lens is clear, and for the purpose of keeping the coast safe, but also these ships safe. And in our text, we'll kind of see a similar thing, that we need to see God and he will keep us, and that looking to him will keep us safe. So I'd like to title this talk, My Keeper, and let's read the text and see how God keeps us safe. I lift my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is my keeper. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep you, your going out and your coming in, from this time forth and forevermore. This is God's word. So what I would like to argue for you all this evening is look to the Lord who keeps us safe. In verses 1 and 2, it talks about how we're meant to look to the Lord. I'm going to ask you this question. Where do you look to in life? When times are easy, when times are tough, where do you look to? It's easy to look to God in the hard times. I would argue sometimes it's even harder to look to God in the easy times. And the psalmist here is, I will lift my eyes to the hills. I'll lift my eyes to God because he is worthy of me looking to him. He's the one we're meant to keep our eyes on. He's the one we're meant to look to because he is God. He made all things and he's the one who cares for us. It's like a child you see crossing the street. They'll look to their parents. Maybe you have children and you know that they'll look to you when either they need help or they want your approval. So in life, who do you look to, folks? Are you looking to the things around you, the things you trust in? Are you looking at your status? Or are you looking at the one who made the heavens and the earth? Now you may be asking, why should we look to God? What makes him so special? The psalmist kind of unpacks this later on. It shows why God is the one we're meant to look to in life. He's the one that keeps us safe. He will not let your foot be moved. He keeps you. He will not. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. Look to the one who is keeping you, but yet is the one who will always keep you and will allow us to sleep. He's our keeper in the shade. He is the shade on your right hand, and by night or by day, he's the one who cares. He's the one who keeps us. Don't you want this type of care? If we're going to look back at the illustration of the lighthouse, you don't want a lightkeeper who's asleep on the job and doesn't notice the things going on. This is the blessings we have of a God who is not like us in some ways, that he's outside of time. He controls time. He controls all things. He's all powerful, all knowing, all present. And so while we may need to sleep and rest, we can have trust in a God who is present at all times, aware of all things, and knows what we need when we may not need it. We may not know we need it. Not only he'll keep us safe in day or nighttime, he'll also keep us safe from those around us. He'll keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. When we leave and we come back, he will be the one keeping us. Not just now, but forever. Don't you want this type of care? Wouldn't you love it if you had a God who's taking care of you, not only today, but tomorrow? And if you remember, he's the one who kept you in the past. To the unbeliever, don't you want a God that's more sustainable than some of the things we may look to? I mean, just look at the stock market, right? That's been going up and down like crazy. You can't put your trust in that. Wouldn't you want to put your trust in a God who's consistent, who has kept us, who has kept his people, who is keeping his people, and who will keep his people? Which raises the question, how do you have this God to be your God? How are we special to receive this? Well, in the book of Hebrews, the author is talking about this, about how great our God is, but yet how he made the way for us to be kept by him. You see, God himself made the way through Christ, through Jesus Christ, his Son and our Savior. And he says this in Hebrews 4, since we have a great high priest who passes through the heavens, Jesus Christ, the Son of God, who let us hold fast to our confession. We do not have a high priest who is able to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who in every respect has been tempted, and yet as we are, and yet without sin. Let us then with confidence draw near to the throne of grace, that we may receive mercy, and find grace to help in our time of need. See, God himself came down to be like us, so he knows what we're going through. He had dying family members like we may have today. He's been accused by others like we probably are in our lives. He's been punished. He's been bruised in a greater way than we have. So he knows what's going on. He lived a life like us. So he knows what we deal with today. And he died on the cross so that all who believe on him can confess him as Lord or receive the grace. You see, because of who we are as people, we are separated from God because of our sin, right? Sin is us disobeying God and his laws. It's knowing the truths of him and choosing to serve ourselves rather than obey him, as he calls in his word and as we have studied. And this God came so that he could die to save us. But not only that, he is now in heaven as our priest, as our advocate, as our keeper, to steal from the text. He's the one keeping us now. He's the one protecting us and caring for us. He's the one that we are meant to look to. He's the one, our help, our Lord, the one we're meant to look to. So I want us to be encouraged by this, right? Knowing what Christ has done, knowing that he is our help, he is our keeper. knowing that in the times of ease and the times of hardship, we can look to Him, Christ, our keeper, our advocate. So look to the Lord who keeps us safe.
I stay up there and okay, I'm starting with you. What encouraged you in the text?
Yeah. I think just like the time concept seemed to be going in all different directions. And so just yeah, the allness of God's keeping of us. It's all the time, all things, always.
Nick?
Yeah, I
I'm
was.
sorry.
Oh, yeah. I was encouraged that He's the one we're meant to look to. The one that's keeping us is the one we look to.
Okay.
Yeah, Adam, I was encouraged by the fact that God does not sleep on the job. I think that's really good, and encouraging that He's always awake, watching over me. And CJ, I am encouraged by like the way you really focused in on the safety aspect of it. Like I'm safe. Like I'm not endangered. I think that was good.
Brennan, you want to try?
Yeah, it was just us three. So it is what encouraged me from the text.
Or from their preaching of the text, yeah.
Okay.
Preached it wrong than just from the
Yeah,
That's what Jeremy does.
I was encouraged. You displayed God's past keeping character through Jacob and Israel and in Christ. So that was really helpful. Like, okay, I get God's a keeper, but where has He actually done this? You showed me that, which is really cool. And then it's CJ, right?
Yep.
Okay. Your description of God's keeping characteristics, the adjective, all that is really helpful. In depth, where you just kind of really dug really deep into all these different characteristics of how God keeps us. So that was really helpful. So encouraging.
Yeah, so similarly, Adam, I too was encouraged by that whole piece. When we get on how God doesn't sleep on the job. And I think that was in the context of that move where you were talking about how He keeps us from dangers in the day and dangers in the night. I'm sorry, pardon me. That was when you were talking about His availability.
Yeah.
His availability. Sorry. And then in CJ, I appreciated the piece where you were doing a little run on how you're talking about how He keeps us, and you're talking about how He's not like us. He doesn't get tired and all these types of things. I thought that was very helpful. So, what could you have done better?
Yeah, I didn't feel like my outline was memorable enough for me. Like, I think it functioned in terms of what I was communicating, but yeah, it was hard for me to kind of get my arms around.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, or we go like that.
I can
tell me what's most effective. Is it going back to back like this?
I think so. We can.
Okay.
I feel like in me doing my gospel connection, I felt like there was probably better moves for it. Notice I did do a lot of setup work to get into Hebrews, so I could have probably found a better gospel connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam, this one's kind of nitpicky just because I liked it a lot. I feel like you used all the way in your main point that the Lord keeps us all the way, but you were really focused on that time aspect. So I feel like you could have either fleshed out all the way more or said He keeps us for all time. But like I said, really nitpicky. Just good.
And go ahead with.
Oh yes, and CJ, I think I think I said this last time you preached. I may have like some of your pauses. I kind of got this feedback earlier this week, but it seemed more like you were like it was very evident. At least it seemed like it that you were trying to figure out what to say next.
Yeah.
And part of that's because you were looking down, which is also the feedback I got on the Tuesday that you can really tell when I'm pausing because I'm trying to figure out what to say next because I'm looking down at my Bible. So yeah, I think that's just one thing to
Yeah.
work on.
Yeah, Adam. My one thing was you said to the unbeliever that this is a journey you want to be on.
Never said
I thought it was a good prompting question, but also perhaps maybe show them where they stand apart from being on that journey. Like it would be like if like you don't have a keeper, you're bare.
Yeah.
You're about to go to the hills.
It's good.
And then CJ, along the lighthouse illustration was really great, but along the lines of the unbeliever, my thing was like perhaps you could have been like, imagine saying you didn't want that lighthouse.
Yeah.
How can I
No,
actually look to the
that's-
lighthouse to be foolish.
Bro, you should just sign up already.
And so I thought, but the lighthouse illustration was great.
Yeah.
So I just think, yeah, maybe fleshing that out a little bit more.
That's good. So, Adam, I agree with you. Your outline was a little bit unwieldy. The argument was solid and strong and clear, but I couldn't catch, okay, he's always available. Okay, good, got that. But then from there on in, I couldn't catch. What you were saying was right, but there was no hooks, there were no anchors to it. So I was trying to figure out, okay, he's always available, then he's always able, he keeps you from danger day and night. And then when you got to verse 7, he'll keep you forever. Well, he can keep you for all time. I said, okay, well, there's the all time piece. But the rest of it was a little bit too mushy in the middle, not because of what you were saying, but because you didn't lay out an anchor for any of the points. And if you could have just done something with that, I think it would have been help. For CJ, your transitions,
Yeah.
like, I agree with Brennan, the lighthouse piece, I think that particularly for your argument, look to the Lord who keeps us safe. I thought that was like brilliant, but your transition from introducing the lighthouse into the text and then your transitions in between the moves you were trying to make were a little bit, it felt tentative. It felt.
Yeah. No, I did not write out that transition piece.
Yeah. And then a structural piece, I think you could have, there's a couple of different ways you could have done it with the elements that you had in there. Because you asked the question, why should we look to him? But then you didn't answer it fully. You started to answer it by talking about he's not like us. You could have just framed it, okay, why should we look to him? Because he's not like us. We get tired, he don't get tired. We
No,
don't be
that's
in one place. He's everywhere.
That's
we can restrict it by time. He'll do it forever. Whatever.
Yeah. No,
that
that's
would have
really
been
good.
clearer. And then when you got to your gospel connection, you could be like, he became like us.
Yeah.
And then that would have been an easier way into the gospel
that's good.
connection. Because your second question you asked, how do we get this guy to be our guy?
Yeah.
And the answer would be, okay, he's not like us, but he became like us.
Yeah.
And then
No, that's really good.
it's just clean and clear.
Yeah.
And you're in there. All right, what did you do well?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been enjoying controlling images lately. I think just the controlling image of the journey. I enjoyed doing it. I think it helped. It did a lot of work for me.
CJ?
Yeah. Caveat question, Nick, were my questions better this week?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I think they were
Yeah.
a little bit better.
I got the feedback that my questions didn't do anything. And so I was trying to use them better to like actually make them move the sermon forward. So
Oh, you asked the right question.
yeah.
If you had answered them, it would have been like money. Because that was it. Why should we look to him? How did we get this guy to be our guy? I mean, that was like right on the money.
Yeah, that was something I was working hard on this one to actually make them do something.
Yeah.
because for some reason my past sermons weren't. So
Yeah, so Adam, I really like that illustration with the job. I thought it was really helpful. And God does not sleep on the job. I said that in the encouragement part, just the illustration, how it finished there, and the contrast between we humans who often at least feel tempted to sleep on the job, how God never does. And he's always available. And then CJ, I was going to say, I liked your questions. Even though you didn't answer some of them, like they did move your sermon along.
Mhm.
And even that beginning question, like, where do you look to? Was helpful and just like an immediate application of this passage. Like the psalmist is looking up. Where are we looking? It's usually not up.
Yeah, that would, to his point, that would have been the perfect framing for your text. You said, "Where do you look to?" And then you talk about verses 1 through 2.
yeah,
Why should we look to him? And then you
yeah,
dealt with other verses. And then how do we get this guy to be our guy? And then you're done.
yeah. Oh, that's good. That's helpful.
Raymond?
Yep. For Adam, I really like to frames your gospel message. Jesus actually deserved the protection, yet he was kept from it.
Mm.
That was really, really good description of what Jesus did. So that was really well done, your gospel explanation. CJ, I awkwardly also wrote down question, and I liked how you answered it kind of with the question of who you look to, and then you used the illustration of the child looking to the parent.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually think that was a really good image to put into our minds. So
Yeah.
you answered it there. That was really helpful.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, Adam, I too, aside from just the controlling image and the whole all the way piece, I thought that was just like right on the money. I too like the gospel piece, the way you flipped it at the end as you were talking, and that just that one sentence, that is, of course, until he wasn't. God kept him when he did this. He kept him until he didn't. And then you explained it. That was a real deft move. I wish you would have just went on to Jude 24. Now unto him who's able to keep you from
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's
I was saving that for my benediction.
Yeah.
solidified everything that you
That's good.
And then CJ, again, I liked the not only the controlling image, I too like the kid crossing the street, but also even though you could have done it without the Hebrews 4 piece, you did
Yeah.
get at he became like us.
Yeah.
I forgot how the exact words you used, but at the end, before you got to, Christ is our keeper, I think you were setting it up right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think the bones of the whole situation were exactly what they needed to be. So, good work.
Thanks, guys.
I'd like to close with the psalm.
No,
We will keep you from all evil.